Okay, got it. Okay, should I start?
Yes.
Perfect. Um, well, thank you everyone for joining today. I know that everyone had to sacrifice something to be in attendance, whether it's a hobby, family, kids, work. So I myself have young children, so I just want to thank you so much for making the time to come here. When we last met in October, when we had our in-person, and we called it an open house because this is where we met in the senior center, and we got to meet a few of you. I want to thank you for making the time to come here today. My name is Pamela Salas Meeting, and funny enough, I am a Santa Clara alumni, so this project is very close to my heart, as this area, this project site is very close to my alma mater. I'm going to share a presentation here in a second, but I'm going to keep it short. I'm just going to go over some high-level basics, because really what I was hoping this meeting was about is for me to meet you all and hear your thoughts and hear just anything that you have to say about this project. As close as, you know, when I was asked to join this project team, it was exciting because I had, you know, a lot of thoughts and feelings being that I went to Santa Clara University and I lived in Santa Clara. And so this is where I just want to be able to open up the table, very similar to what we did in October at our first community hearing, where it feels more like an open house. So with that said, I'm going to share my screen now to show the presentation. Can everyone see my screen? Okay, perfect.
Yes,
I just
we
need to
can.
make sure, so.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So again, today we are doing a community meeting. I did want, in case those of you that don't have knowledge or don't know about City Ventures, we are a local Bay Area infill builder. We've actually done projects in Santa Clara before, so it's not our first time. We like to pride ourselves in the fact that our communities are sustainable. So a lot of, for those of you that don't know about the history, we actually the company started by way of having partnerships with cities. And so out of having those partnerships with cities for development projects, that's what really evolved into what City Ventures is now. And so what the project likes doing is they like to be at the forefront of anything that has to do with sustainability. And obviously now there's different green building codes that require that, but we're talking about pre-wiring for EV parking, solar panels, battery packs, but we're even going so far as to even getting creative from an air quality perspective about what type of concrete that we're using. So for those, just to give a little bit of background of where our site is, this is the airport right here. You can see the little planes and the airway run. This is Brokaw Avenue right here. The train station is over here, Dela Cruz, and then Dela Cruz turns, and this is Coleman Avenue. This right here is the post office, and this is the game center right here. So we are right here, and this property is about 3.6 acres. So what we started out here was we tried to have some images of really what we felt was the intent for the city for this project, where there was a lot of mobility, connectivity, economic vitality, sustainability. So those type of elements we try to curate into a plan that I'm going to show you right now. So as you can see here, we are allowing the Santa Clara colors to really help drive some of the colors and feel of what you would see on Coleman Avenue. Now you'll notice that these renderings right here don't show the same colors, which is why I wanted to show this as a bigger palette. What I wanted to show in these images here is that when we took hold of the project, we really wanted the center street, or as I call the spine of the street, I'm going to show a site plan in a second, to really have that urban feel that draws people in from Coleman Avenue through to the project. Because really what we want to do is allow people, let me go back to to allow people to be able to utilize public transportation, since we're less than a half a mile to the train station, which also will be the future BART. And here's another closer up photo of this kind of urban spine that we're trying to bring and attract people in. Here is a plan view or a bird's eye view of what we have for the site plan. Again, this is that major spine street that we had shown before. And what we have here on number 11 is these type of paseos or type of European type streets where you have the twinkling lights that go over. And this is really to try to bring the outdoors in. And so that way, we call them meeting areas. What we'd like to do is bring people out of their homes and enjoy everything that really Coleman in this area of Santa Clara is trying to provide. And it's that mixed use compatibility of the high density residential and also all the commercial aspects that Santa Clara has to offer. We did, of course, try to get creative with the land that we had. And so you see that we're providing little pocket areas of dog parks and community parking and areas for barbecuing and shades, etc. And that is the end of my presentation. So I would love to be able to open it up to any questions, thoughts, so we can get to know each other. And I really just want to absorb whatever it is that folks have to offer today. Thank you.
I see some questions in the Q&A, Pam, and I see a raised hand too.
Oh, yeah, okay, so the first is the post office. You're absolutely right, I apologize. It is the immigration offices next door. Will there be secure bike parking? Yes, we are providing bike racks. I'm going to look at the charging for e-bikes. I hadn't thought about that. Let me write that down. Charging for e-bikes. That is, that was for Miss Betsy. Charging for e-bikes. Will the building be, from Miss Elaine, will the building be fully electric? That is correct. We are an all-electric developer, so there will be absolutely no gas lines, Miss Elaine.
And Pam, I'm seeing a hand raise, so I can help you. Lloyd, I can.
Perfect.
You should be able to talk now.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Hello, good evening. My name is Lloyd Reber. I'm here representing the NorCal Carpenters Union of Local 405. This project at 1400 Coleman Avenue sits right in the heart of our community, and how it gets built matters. We are calling on the developer to make the right decision by hiring responsible contractors who pay a fair wage, offer health benefits, invest in apprenticeship programs, and hire locally. These aren't just boxes to check, they're standards that ensure the people building our homes and businesses can afford to live here too. Responsible contractors bring quality, safety, and accountability to the job site. They don't cut corners, they don't exploit workers, and they don't leave communities worse off than when they arrived. 1400 Coleman Avenue deserves more than just development. We deserve a project that reflects the values of our city: opportunity, fairness, and dignity for working people. So let's make sure this project is built by those who are invested in our community, not just profiting off of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me go back to the Q&A. Okay. Sylvia's iPad said, I think you mentioned mixed use. That's a great question. So we ourselves are not planning restaurants what we are doing is providing residential. But what I meant by mixed use is that this area provides a mixed use in the sense that there's going to be residential mixed in on the same street with other commercial uses. In the plan view, it looks like there is a setback on the sidewalk. I suggest a more gradual transition to the neighboring curbside than the square corners you're showing. Square corners. This is on Coleman, I believe. Okay, so Miss Betsy, I believe, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so you're showing the sidewalk back by the width of some planting strip on Coleman, and I like that. I was just going to say that the it kind of comes to the end of that, and then to transition to the sidewalk on either side of that, there's this just right angle shown at the end. At least that's what I think I'm seeing. Yeah, that's the one.
Right here.
Yeah, and what I would suggest is simply to take that at a 30-degree angle or something instead of a 90-degree angle, just so that there's a little bit more flow if you're actually walking that way.
Space right here.
Right. If you want
Got
people
it.
to walk to transit, make it as comfortable as you can.
Mm-hmm. And I know that the city has some additional plans for Coleman Avenue, so I am restricted to what I can use, but you're absolutely right, Betsy. We've been trying to push the buildings back to kind of provide a landscape buffer, that people have landscaping on either side as they're walking on the sidewalk. Because people do drive faster on Coleman Avenue.
Yes,
But
they
thank
do.
you for that.
While I'm talking,
Of course.
are you in touch? I know that the station area plan stuff is a little bit still in progress, but are you in touch with them? And
So
yeah,
go
go ahead.
So they have been invited to attend today, and I attended the last two meetings as we were trying to prepare really what this site looks like. And so a lot of what you're seeing here and a lot of the elements that I was talking about, the mobility, the connectivity, the economic vitality, that kind of sustainable infrastructure are really the tenets to the station area plan. And even with our density and what it looks like, let me go back because I want to be able to, part of this product was really in discussion. Sorry, let me open this up. Let me just stop sharing for a second. Here we go. So our project is right next to the Industrial Innovation District. Let me pull up my screen so you can see the site plan again. Okay, here we go. Oops. So this whole little swath of area here, Betsy, is the Innovation District. And really what the Innovation District wants to be per the last two station area plans is 2 floors in height because of the safety and visibility of the airport. And so really what our product is doing, it's reacting to and conforming to what the station area plan is looking for from an intent perspective. So really what we're looking at is the airport is kind of ground zero. This Innovation District right here, which we abut, is that 2 floors in height. And then we up it up with our density over here. What we have these like 4-story townhomes, and we're high density residential at the 37 0.1 dwelling units per acre. And then as you kind of get closer to the train station, it's kind of like that wedding cake look. So because the station area plan is not done and it's still in evolution, and it's still having those meetings, what I've been doing is paying very, very close attention to what is the intent of what the station area plan is trying to do. And we've been incorporating it slowly, and really curating what this plan looks like now.
Okay, and I've got one more on
Of
the
course.
on the site plan. I'm wondering if you've
Yeah.
considered where deliveries and rideshare drop-offs and pickups are going to happen. Because if you don't think about where that happens, you end up with
Yeah.
them wherever they happen, which is often in the way.
That is a really good, especially in this area where people are trying not to use their own cars. Rachel drop-off pickup area.
And deliveries, right? Where does
Yes.
UPS hang out for
Yep.
while they bring the stuff inside?
Yep. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you so much. And then Mr. Jose, oh, sorry, Mr. Should I answer questions or just do the?
Sorry, you go. I'll just help in the background.
Okay. Jose Andres, what is the average cost of a 2-bedroom apartment? That is a really good question. So I don't have prices to share right now, but what I did want to share, and now it's kind of the perfect timing, is that what we're trying to do as a community benefit here is close to double the amount of on-site affordable housing than what is required for the city of Santa Clara. So currently the city of Santa Clara requires a 15% affordability, so that the total affordability is about 100% AMI. So a little bit above moderate, if you will. And what we're doing here is at our last community hearing, we actually had a student from Santa Clara a student that was hoping to get into Santa Clara. She was at the local college, but she had stopped by and asked me about these units, particularly the affordable housing component. And for someone like that, they don't need a bigger home. And so what we provided for this site is we have 143 units, Jose, and what we did in here to provide that economic vitality, if you will, is we did a whole slew of different type of products that we're offering. So we're offering studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and 3 bedrooms to try to provide home ownership for those that don't need a 3-bedroom or 2-bedroom apartment. If we're trying to do that for close to double the amount of affordable housing so that this project can be that type of community benefit. How do we access for financing? So there's different financing for the affordable housing that we'll have. There's completely different financing than for if you were a market rate buyer. So we can talk offline about that, or I can connect you with one of our sales team members that can kind of help that process. But the city also has, if I'm not mistaken, Amisha, information on how to, particularly for BMRs. Because it's pretty normal across the board. There's FHA loans, and again, I'm not eloquent in that aspect, but I know that is available, and it's all very transparent. So the Housing Community Development Department for every single county provides exactly what your salary is by county, and depending on household size, on what you would qualify for a below market rate unit. When will the project start and end. Construction takes a long time to do, so it's not, like a 2-month process. But the idea would be that we can potentially, after these meetings, we still need to finalize a lot of different design elements and making sure we check off all the lists that the city wants so that it can be a good product before we actually go to entitlements or a construction document. So there's still quite a bit to go. Is there a city representative on this meeting? Yes, that is Nimisha here on the phone.
So this is Nimisha. I am the project manager for this project. Been with the city for 8 years and senior planner and also working on this project. So I'm here to take in any feedback that you may have.
And then Yoon, oh, so they wrote and should we, oh, go ahead.
Theon, you can unmute yourself and talk also. We can read your question here. Are you able to unmute yourself?
Yeah, I did.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my question is about the existing business on the property. There's a lot of businesses. What will be their fate? Does the city have any plan?
Do you want me to go to Michelle, or do you want to go?
Yes, please go up, Bam.
Okay. That is a really great question. So the current property owner has an absolutely amazing property manager, and they've really been extremely transparent and forthcoming with every single one of their tenants, letting them know that the property was put up for sale about 3 years ago. And so while that decision to be fully transparent was difficult for them because they did lose a bunch of clients that were there and tenants, they felt that it was fair to their business owners to be absolutely forthright and say that the time has come where now this property has been long owned by a family, where they felt that it was time to help provide a different community benefit for that piece of property by way of housing, which they felt in the spirit of really what's going on with the housing shortage, that they felt that their property could actually add to that benefit. And so they made that difficult decision about 3 years ago. And then since then, the property manager has been absolutely wonderful and been staying in absolute contact with all of the tenants there to make sure that people are well aware of eventually this will be a housing development. And so to help find another home for them. So let's see if there's any other QAs. Oh, Miss Betsy asked, these are for, that is correct. So these are for sale and not rentals. And when you look at the data, there isn't a lot of for sale below market rate units. And so that's what we would be providing for that home ownership. I'm just going through. Is there anyone else or anything else I can bring up or discuss?
And if you're joining from phone, you can press *9, or just raise your hand, and we can unmute you.
Instead of just seeing our faces, Nimisha, I thought I might as well just show photos of the project.
Oh, I see a question, Pam, there.
Oh,
Under open, I don't know why it's there, but it says, what is the timeline for the project?
yeah, that is a great question. So right now we are in the early stages. We're in entitlements. So essentially what we're trying, the city in its due diligence always has a good and robust checklist about what is needed as part of before approving a housing project. And so that's essentially what stage we're in. We are in the reviewing engineering and architecture and planning and community development and housing. So we're kind of checking off all those lists and making sure that there's a lot of back and forth and communication between the city and our team before this project is approved in order to be able to submit construction documents. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Did that answer your question, Chris?
Chris,
you
you
hear me?
can, yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, that answers. I know a little bit about entitlement and all that, so it's going to take some time. And by the way, is this project funded totally by privately, or is the city or the state or the federal government going to help out?
No, we are not asking for any funding. So we would be providing all the funding ourselves, including to build all of the affordable housing.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you. So far what I've heard, and just in case there was some people that came a little bit later, we got some really good feedback on bicycles, wanting to know about bike parking, especially since we're trying to make this an urban street. We got some really good points about charging for e-bikes. I didn't even think about an e-bike. We had a discussion about labor. We had a discussion about having really trying to provide good buffers along the sidewalk so that people feel safe along Coleman Avenue as they walk over to Brokaw and over to the train station. We also had a good discussion about rideshare, drop-off, deliveries. We also had a discussion about timing and about tenants. And then, I just saw another one. When do current tenants need to leave by? Currently, no time right now. They're currently there. We're not the ones who are going to dictate that they leave. And so again, I think I had brought this up before. The property manager and the owners have been absolutely transparent that they would make sure to let the tenants know when they had to leave, when the timing was appropriate, but with actually information being known. So that's why if housing was a very definitive thing of, right, I think Nimisha and I's job would be a lot easier if it was like, you start here and it gets approved like in 3 months and then that's when you're off. So this is kind of why the owner and the property manager have done a beautiful job of letting them know a very, very long time in advance that at some point it will be sold and they will be given adequate notice.
And Betsy, to your earlier question about the some space in the front, there is a requirement for a 15-foot setback, front setback, and I believe um, the site plan, if you bring it up, Pam, it shows at least a 14 plus feet on one side, on the narrower side, and then it goes up to almost like 25 feet on the other side,
Yeah,
on the
there's a
northern.
pretty significant. Tomas said, I'm a current tenant, I need to know. Tomas, I would say go visit Betsy in the front office. She is absolutely wonderful, and we've been keeping into close contact with the owners because neither the owners or us at City Venture want to have a point where there's not adequate communication that occurs. Got it. Tenants have, okay, I see something else. Tenants have been told that we will know more in April, which is tomorrow. So to the anonymous attendee, the reason probably why they said in April is because everybody was told about this meeting here. And so this meeting really also ties into the overall just processing of the project. So with every little milestone, I imagine, and this is a bit of conjecture, that probably you've been getting information as we get it ourselves. There's a lot of process that we don't also have full control over as well. As much as we'd love to have that control, but I thank you for your patience.
Anybody has any other questions? We will be posting this presentation and the recording of this meeting on the project page on the city's website. If there is anybody who's not able to attend or people in the meeting want to reference back to the questions that were asked, you can do that. It should be posted by the end of the week.
We had one person drop off.
If you have any other questions, feel free to raise your hand. Me and Pam are here in the meeting, and if you think of something, let us know. I'll try and answer your questions. Pam, maybe you can
Okay.
put your email ID in in so that people can
Yes.
reach out to you
I'm gonna put my
after you
email in
answer
the
this
Q&A
question.
office.
Yes, probably. Can you?
I don't know. So, okay, let me see. I'm going to read. Multiple tenants asked for an update on the anticipated sale date, and we were referred to the property management. Is that fair summation? So I don't know if people referred you previously to the property management. What I'm saying is that since I am not the property manager and I'm not the owner, the best source of information would be the owner. But the one thing that we do know is that there's a lot of unknowns. So in the same sense of what the tenant is feeling, what the owner's feeling is what we are feeling. So timing is very difficult to be able to determine when you're doing a housing project. Did that help answer the question? Or I guess I'm reading the question right. Nimisha, I think they're trying to summarize what tenants were asked. I got it now. Okay, apologies. If the question was if multiple tenants asked for an update and we refer them to the property management, yes, that is the summary. Tenants asked for anticipated sale date, and we advise that they should keep in touch with the property management company.
And I think because there are more questions about that, currently the project applicants, the developers, City Ventures, are in the planning process and trying to get their planning entitlements. And once they have satisfied all the comments from different departments, they will be scheduled for a hearing, tentatively in the fall of this year. And once that is done, they're approved. The project needs to be approved at the Planning Commission and Council because it's a general plan amendment and rezoning. And then it will go to the development review hearing, which is the architectural review approval. Once all of that planning entitlements are done, they will start with their building review process, building permits. So that will take some time. It's kind of hard to say how long, but it will take some time, and just to kind of give you a sense of where the project is right now.
Is the autumn hearing expected to happen before or after the sale? Before. And really, I should add, a lot of what we're trying to do with the work and the partnership that we're doing with the city is to try to provide some certainty to a process that really is not fully straightforward. So that's what we've been really, really trying to do here. We lost 2 attendees, Nisha. We're down to 9. Oh, I see another one. So the autumn hearing will be before any anticipated sale. As far as I understand, yes, because fall is basically when my kids start school. If this is a current tenant, the property manager and owner, I am sure, considering that they've been managing this property for close to 30 years, will provide you more than ample time, and will be there, even providing assistance, as I understand. Nimisha, I don't know where I can put my email address. I just realized that. Although it was on the flyer that everybody received. Uh-oh, I can't hear you.
Sorry. Yeah, maybe we can just post the flyer here or from the flyer. Oh, I cannot post here, right? Put it up
Yeah,
on the screen.
let me pull up the flyer right now.
Yeah, there you go.
Can everyone see it?
I saw a raised hand earlier, but
Oh, yes. So
Shen Melo, do you have a question you would like to ask? You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, I was wondering since it looks like the building design is already done, um, do you know how many square footage is like a one bedroom, two bedroom, or three bedroom?
yeah, let me pull that up. So our studios are roughly, oh, sorry, you didn't ask for a studio. Our one bedroom is approximately 830 square feet. We have two different types of two bedrooms. The first that has a 2-bed, 1-bath is about 900, just shy of 1,000 square feet. And the 2-bedroom, 2-bath is about 1,215 square feet. And then the 3-bedroom is 1,750.
Thank you.
And you brought up a really good question about the architecture. So what we wanted to do was we wanted to have the architecture speak to the residential development, which is the Gateway Crossings project across the street. So that the architecture in itself was very, very intentional. That was a really good thing to bring up, because I discussed how the colors were curated, and that was from Santa Clara University, but the architecture was so that the two buildings can talk to one another. Different developers, by the way. Like we were not the developers for Gateway Crossing, but we wanted to be a good neighbor. Are some units multi-floor? They are. So these are not ranch style single family homes. These are attached units that are 4 stories. So there's no elevators in the townhomes. Does anyone else have any thoughts, ideas, or just are a neighbor and want to introduce themselves? Like, I would love to be able to meet you, especially if you live in the area.
We can hang out here another 5 minutes, but then if nobody has any other questions, you have both our email addresses. Feel free to reach out if you think of a question, and yeah, we'll do our best to answer.
Oh, okay, I see another question.
Hmm.
One more question about parking under the buildings. So there's no parking structure since these are attached townhomes. Am I still sharing? Yes.
Yes.
They have their own garages. So we have surface parking and we also have parking in the garages themselves. You can see kind of the surface parking in these areas. So there's surface parking all around the site. And then in here you have, parking, both tandem and side-by-side parking.
All right. Seeing no other questions, think we can wrap up, Pam?
Okay, well, I just want to thank everyone for joining. And again, I mentioned this earlier, it was a sacrifice to be able to take this time out of your day to attend here and listen to Nimisha and I talk about this, what I think is an amazing project next to my alma mater. Again, my name is Pamela Needing. So if any other questions, like, please feel free to email me, and I look forward to hearing from you. And thank you, Nimisha, for taking the time to host this.
No, thank you so much, everyone, for attending. Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
Bye.
Oh,
Oh,
thanks.
oh, it's just thank
It's
you.
just a
Oh,
thank
she
you.
was being nice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye.